Hello, everyone. Welcome to Pairfect, the ultimate lifestyle show where we celebrate the visionaries and trailblazers shaping our world. I'm Dinah Ventura. Today, we're excited to welcome an influential figure in the Philippine art scene. He's a curator, writer, and editor whose deep connection to contemporary art has helped shape how we appreciate and experience local talent. In addition to curating exhibitions for prominent galleries like Cube and Modeca, he's also the owner of Gallery.sort.of, a space that showcases thought-provoking and innovative art. His sharp insights and dedication to the art community have made him a key player in the local cultural landscape. So without further ado, let's welcome our guest, JT Gonzales. Welcome to Perfect.
Hello, good afternoon. Thank you for having me on your show. It's a privilege.
And very nice that we finally pushed through with this interview. I've been wanting to do that because, the first time I heard of your gallery's name, I was immediately curious. So, why gallery sort of?
Okay, well, because I didn't want to be boxed in within just the gallery, I
Mm-hmm.
wanted the space to welcome all other forms of,
Mm-hmm.
let's say, creativity.
Mm-hmm.
So we've had, like, for example, pottery shows,
Oh.
pottery sessions, I mean.
Mm-hmm.
We've had book launches. A couple of authors have come and done book readings.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe pop-ups here and there, live sketches. So not just per se a commercial gallery.
Okay, so it's sort of, but it's still a gallery. But before we go into that, I'm sure a lot of people are curious because you've had quite a career shift. So you're a lawyer by profession, right? And
Yes.
you practiced corporate law for a bit. What inspired you to leave that world and start in an art gallery of your own?
Quite shallow
Mm-hmm.
reasons, I have to confess. It's just more fun in the art world.
Mm-hmm.
And I find it more fulfilling because I'm able to see immediately the
Mm-hmm.
impact I make on helping young artists.
Mm-hmm.
So
So from the start, your intention was really to give space to young artists.
yes.
Okay.
uh, I figured that that's where the excitement comes in when you
Mhm.
discover something new.
Mhm.
Someone who has a different way of making things, of presenting things, of
Mhm.
crafting scenarios. The old guard, they're there. They have their talent and they have their champions and they have
Mhm.
their fans.
Yes.
Whereas emerging talent, the new kids, they're the ones who need the most
Mhm.
guidance. They're the ones who need a leg up,
Mhm.
and if I can help them somehow, then great. If not, then well, at least I tried.
Well, what made you pursue law in the first place if you're so into art? I mean, um
Oh, okay. Well, I wasn't really into law per se.
Mhm.
My mother just asked me if I wanted to try it out. I mean, law school, I mean.
Mhm.
And I did. So when I got there, I sort of got trapped into it.
Mhm.
And I just finished it. And I actually did enjoy some of the things that you encounter in law school.
Mhm.
I enjoyed a good deal of the areas that you find yourself in
Mhm.
when you're practicing law.
Mhm.
But after a while, everything tends to become routinary. So
Yeah,
I thought,
if your heart really is not into it, then I suppose you would get a little
yes.
bit bored with it. Is that the right word?
Yeah, maybe let's just say there's more excitement in the artwork.
Okay. So have you always been interested in art? I mean, what age did you start getting into it? And jumping from that, like, did you have a vision when you started the gallery based on that interest that you developed maybe from an early age?
Yes, so I've
Mm-hmm.
always liked art, going to galleries, going to
Mm-hmm.
museums,
Mm-hmm.
collecting a little bit, not a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess that progressed naturally towards um, pitching shows to galleries and trying to find out if they were interested in particular exhibits or
Mm-hmm.
particular artists. And so once galleries were interested in the proposals, the pitches that I had,
Mm-hmm.
I figured, well, it seems like I have a knack
Mm-hmm.
for bringing things together and presenting it to audiences. So I thought,
Mm-hmm.
might as well do it on my own.
Okay.
So this wasn't planned. I
Mm-hmm.
had no plans 5 years ago of opening my own space.
Mm-hmm.
But things just fell into place. Our family had extra space that I borrowed
Mm-hmm.
and I converted into a gallery.
Mm-hmm.
I knew a lot of young artists who
Mm-hmm.
needed
The
help,
space.
especially a platform in
Mm-hmm.
Manila.
Mm-hmm.
So might as well go and put all these things together and
Mm.
have my own space.
Okay. So when you curate an exhibition, what's the most important factor that you consider in selecting the artworks?
Okay, so curating for me, and I don't know if that's the case for other curators because this is just a
Mm-hmm.
label I stuck onto myself or other galleries stuck onto me.
Mm-hmm.
When curating, um, it starts from the process of selecting the artists that you will want to promote 6 months
Mm-hmm.
down the road. So I try to pick artists that are able to mesh
Mm.
together.
Okay.
Their palettes might mesh, their subjects, the way that they view life, and then
Mm-hmm.
you invite them and try to think of a theme that will showcase their works.
Mm. Okay.
So come showtime, when you're opening it, let's say 2 or 3 days from now, and I'm there at the space, I
Mm-hmm.
look at the space that's made available, I look at the works that
Mm-hmm.
the artists have submitted,
Mm-hmm.
and then the challenge becomes how do you showcase these paintings or these sculptures in the best way, in the most flattering light,
Mm-hmm.
so that when audience members come into the space, they're able to appreciate it in the best manner possible.
Yeah, I get.
So,
Mm-hmm.
so that's the more immediate curating form that I can suggest to you.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but it's very complex. There are times when I know other curators when they see artworks they don't like, they say, okay, this one we're not even gonna show this. We're gonna put this in the back room because we don't want the vision.
Okay.
I haven't done that. I don't want to do it. Of course, artists have
Mm.
egos and they have their own statements to make.
Yes. Mm-mm.
So
Okay.
it's a balance.
Yeah, you try to accommodate all of their everything, their works
Yeah.
and their egos. Okay.
Plus, you want to have an audience impact, right? So you want the audience to
Mm.
be impressed
Right.
when they
Mm-mm.
enter.
Mm-mm.
So
Yeah. Okay. So that's your job, basically.
yeah.
Okay. So you support regional, emerging, and queer artists according to your bio. So what drives you to focus on these groups and how do they shape your curatorial choices?
Okay. Well, because I think they're the ones that most need help.
Mm-hmm.
The others, if they're established already, then what can I offer them?
Mm-hmm.
They don't need me. They have institutional backers already.
Mm-hmm.
But the people from the province, they only have maybe one, two galleries, if at all,
Mm-hmm.
where they are, and they need a platform in Manila. So I'm here. I offer them something that where at least their works can be viewed, can be appreciated, where they can be known by the Manila consumers. And
Mm-hmm.
as you know, Manila is the biggest market in the country. So
Yeah.
I think I'm able to uh, deliver what they have to the consumers.
Okay. But tell me about the very first exhibit you held in your gallery when you
In
opened.
my space,
Yeah.
yeah, so true to form, it was a female artist who came.
Mm-hmm.
She's very young, and she was the one who pitched to me,
Mm-hmm.
can I have an exhibit, a solo exhibit there in your space? And I like that. I like artists who help themselves. So I said, fine, go ahead. The space is yours.
Mm-hmm.
You probably need X number of artworks. Go
Mm-hmm.
and a week before, and let's set it up. And
Okay.
she did. She came. She brought her huge artworks. She's probably spent 4 months of her life just
Wow.
creating. And for her, that was a big deal. And for me, it was a big deal. I was able to help, female artists
Mm.
um, achieve a milestone that she can put in her portfolio.
Yeah, that
That
was her first exhibit
first solo.
ever. Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Very kind of you and generous. But let's talk more about the other artists that you have given space to after we pause for a short break.
And this break is brought to you by Bayad Center. Hashtag bigger, better, younger bayad. And you can buy it all. Meralco, ang liwanag ng bukas. SM, we've got it all for you. Smart, live more today. Union Bank, it starts with you.
Isang salita si Chappie Chinson Pilipinong magaling, Ilocano mabait Isang salita lang siguradong gagawin
Pag may sinabi ka, kailangan gawin mo. Pag mawalang credibility mo, wala kang maniniwala sa'yo. Pag sinabi ko, ginagawa ko. Basta panalo ang Pilipino. Pag kalugi-lugi na ako, gagawin ko pa rin.
Gawang senador ko Number 58 na isang salita si Chappie Chinson
Tune in to Daily Tribune's show aimed at addressing the needs and problems of our OFWs from different corners of the globe. Hear about their plights and success stories every Tuesday and Thursday, 3 p.m. only on Daily Tribune's Facebook page and Tribune Now on YouTube.
Straight Talk dives deep into pressing issues of leadership, politics, business, and more. Engage in insightful conversations with industry shakers, government leaders, and trailblazers every Wednesday at 10 a.m. only here on Daily Tribune's Facebook page and Tribune Now in YouTube.
na isang salita si Chappie Chinson Pilipinong magaling, Ilocano mabait Isang salita lang siguradong gagawin
Pag may sinabi ka, kailangan gawin mo. Pag mawalang credibility mo, wala kang maniniwala sa'yo. Pag sinabi ko, ginagawa ko. Basta panalo ang Pilipino. Pag kalugi-lugi na ako, gagawin ko pa rin.
Gawang senador ko Number 58 na isang salita si Chappie Chinson
Utol, once just a colloquial term for a brother or sister. Today, the same term stands for a better option to your transportation needs. Unified Transport Operations League, or better known as UTOL, was established to give you an alternative to ride-hailing with the concept of availing the service with care and compassion as if it was rendered by your own sibling. Now, who would you prefer to drive you home? Uto, the ride-hailing app to consider.
And we're back on Pairfect. We're still here with JT Gonzales, gallery owner. So, JT,
Yes.
I'm sure your life has changed since you gave up lawyering and became a gallery owner. So how do you balance your time and how do you balance your roles as curator, gallery owner, and writer? And how do these
Um,
roles influence each other?
well, I think it's there's a lot of time, so there's nothing to balance. Everything just fits perfectly. I have time to focus on writing. Uh, Prior to the show, I end up writing my curatorial notes, which isn't really much of. It's not too highbrow or intellectual. I try to make it accessible to the ordinary reading public. I try to explain the artist and his or her emphasis on his works. And maybe it's because over the course of my lawyering career, I was also writing for different publications, including lifestyle articles, which is why it's easier for me to set down on print my thoughts on the artist and why we chose the artist in particular to show for that particular month.
So you've worked with both seasoned and emerging artists. So what do you look for when you try to decide who to feature in your gallery?
Okay, so uh, it's a combination of a few things. First, of course, I wanna profile, I wanna feature artists that are exciting. I want excitement, personal excitement when I see the artist. Um,
Mm.
if it's something I'm not excited about, then I don't know how I can justify trying to excite other people
Tama.
about that artist.
Oo nga naman.
So if I want to sell out my own money to purchase the artist, then that's the time I can try to convince my
Mm.
friends, my relatives to come
Uh-huh.
and invest in this new artist that nobody has heard about.
How do you find them? I mean, do they just come to you and try to
Um,
pitch their work?
both they come to me, and then I tend
Mm.
to look at their portfolios and their
Mm-hmm.
and what they've done so far.
Mm-hmm.
Or what I also do is I travel around, well, mostly Visayas, and
Okay.
I check out who's new, who's graduating, who's
Mm-hmm.
good.
Mm-hmm.
Like for example, just recently I was on a trip to Cebu and I saw this guy, John Manuel de Gaspi, and what he does is he makes sculptures made
Mm-hmm.
of chicken skulls.
Mm.
So the chicken skulls, he boils them and then crafts them into sculptures,
Oh, wow.
and it's so unique and it's so crazy that
Crazy.
for me, I just wanted to like, okay, come on, better show with my space, and I want to be first to showcase you.
Wow, chicken skulls. What even gave him the idea of? Anyway,
I have no clue. And I just needed the idea of boiling skulls and
yeah,
setting them aside.
and making them into an art piece. That's so interesting. I'm sure you've had like a lot of those unique, creative ideas. But so now I'm curious about how art is consumed these days and appreciated. So, with the rise of social media, how do you think platforms like Instagram are changing the way art is created and consumed?
I think it changed a lot, a very
Mm-hmm.
dramatic change, I think. Whereas before,
Mm-hmm.
art could only be appreciated in specific formal spaces like galleries and museums.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's become more egalitarian.
Mm-hmm.
Artists are able to showcase themselves and their works on Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, they're easily accessible to the art consuming public. So
Mm-hmm.
a buyer can just go directly to the artist and say, "Hey, I want to buy your work."
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes there are frauds out there.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a thing that
Yeah.
you have to be wary about when dealing
Mm-hmm. Directly.
directly on
Yeah.
social media.
Mm. So yes, I think that what you're trying to say is that galleries, the role of galleries is important, right? So so there have been many changes. Social media has changed the way art has uh, become more accessible, and perhaps it has also changed the way artists create their art. But what do you think is the most exciting development in the Philippine art scene right now?
Okay, in the Philippines, what I'm excited about personally are artist-run spaces. We've seen a couple or a few sprout up over the past couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
There's one in Cavite called Very Good Gallery,
Mm-hmm.
and they have quite zany ideas
Mm-hmm.
that they throw out there to the art-consuming public.
Mm-hmm.
There's I think Force Field or Art Force Field that just opened in White Plains. I haven't been there, but I've heard good things about it.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully these artists can come together and protect themselves and watch out for each other. And
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a good thing for the Philippine art scene.
Yes, more opportunities, more just a
Yes.
wider world for everyone. So, in your opinion, what challenges do emerging artists face today, and what advice would you give
Many
them? What would
many
you?
challenges. Like for example, you're an art student, you just graduated from art school.
Mm-hmm.
Then you're thrown out to the world, and you
Mm.
essentially have to uh, market yourself to the institutional galleries, or you try to create your own platform by having a very active Instagram site, which
Mm-hmm.
works if you're savvy, but if you're not, then essentially
Yeah.
you're left to your own devices, and that might be difficult. And I've actually heard stories directly from artists who were approached by individuals claiming to be galleries. So the artists send their works to these people,
Wow.
um, and then they never hear from the person again.
Oh, that's
So
horrible.
that's horrible. You know,
Mm,
they know that the pieces have been sold because
mm,
buyers will tag them in their Instagram posts or message them and say, "Hey, I bought your artwork." But
mm.
then when they go and look for the seller, the supposed gallery,
Is he's
it's not there.
wow.
Yeah.
So you have to really establish your uh, gallery as legitimate, right? That's another thing that you need to do.
That's partly the reason
Mm,
why I opened the physical space. At
mm,
first, I thought maybe just
online.
selling online would be
Mm,
sufficient, but you know, to show that you're not fly by night, uh,
yes,
that physical space is important.
tama.
Yeah.
Spoken as a lawyer. Anyway,
Well, it's just perception.
yeah. So finally, what's next for you and Gallery sort of? Are there any projects or plans in the works?
Yeah, so for the next for 2025, we have the year plotted out already. We have artists from all over the Philippines are gonna come and exhibit.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Humbly, our resident artist who has a solo now,
Mm-hmm.
he just for 2024 was actually quite good for him. He had a solo in Los Angeles and
Mm-hmm.
Think Space Gallery, and he had a solo in Yod Gallery in Osaka. And
Mm-hmm.
then the next one is we're tying up with Nissan's Gallery in Taiwan. They're gonna carry
Wow.
Humbly and market him in Taiwan. So that's one. And
Mm-hmm.
then second, we're participating in the Mango Art Festival in Bangkok
Okay.
this May.
Mm-hmm.
So you'll see us there, and we'll bring a few Filipino artists,
Mm-hmm.
young of course, or and queer and emerging.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully we'll bring home the Thai baht to the Philippines.
Oh, hopefully. Good luck,
Thank you.
JT. So thank you very much for joining us this afternoon.
Pleasure.
Yes, so before we go, maybe you'd like to have some words for our viewers about art, about working in the arts, about changing your career, anything.
Okay, well, there's not a lot of money in case you're interested because this is the primary market, it's not the secondary market. And we're still trying to establish a base for these young artists, but the dividends you get in other forms is very rewarding. So
Okay.
try and supporting young artists and seeing them grow and becoming successful,
Mhm.
that's a big plus.
Yes. So I I mean we're very happy to have gotten to know you and to hear about your work and how you are helping our young artists. That's very important. So thank you for being with us again today, JT,
Thank you.
and sharing your insights and your journey with us today. So it's clear that your passion for art, the arts, and dedication to supporting emerging voices in the Philippine art scene is truly inspiring, and we know that a lot of our viewers will be inspired. So please also do check out Gallery Sort of.
Yep, we're on Instagram.
Okay, so we look forward to seeing how Gallery sort of continues to evolve and the incredible artists you'll be supporting in the future. So please stay in touch with us and let us know if there are any other developments you'd like us to talk about. So
Absolutely.
thank you. This has
All
been
right.
Dinah Ventura. Thank you for watching. This has been Pairfect.
This public service announcement is brought to you by Meralco.
Alam nyo ba kung saan napupunta ang binabayad nyo sa Meralco? Dito sa series na ito, isa-isahin natin yan para maipaliwanag ko po sa inyong lahat. Ako po si Josel Dariaga ng Meralco Corporate Communication Office. Alam nyo ba na pag nagbabayad kayo ng bill sa kuryente, nasa mga 20% lang on the average ang napupunta sa Meralco? Sa katotohanan, nahahati sa iba't ibang components ang inyong electricity bill. Kumbaga parang pizza lang yan. Kasama sa binabayaran natin ay ang generation charge na napupunta sa generation companies o mga nag-ooperate ng power plants, transmission charge na napupunta sa system grid operator ng Pilipinas, na National Grid Corporation of the Philippines, at iba-ibang charges na napupunta sa gobyerno. Tulad po ito ng mga subsidies, taxes, universal charges at fit-all. Kung tutuusin, tulad nga nabanggit ko, nasa around 20% on the average ang kabuang bill ang binabayad sa Meralco sa pamamagitan ng distribution charge. Ito na ang pinaka-epektibong sistema para sa electricity consumer. Iwas abala ito para hindi na isa-isahin pang bayaran ng iba't ibang kumpanya na dinadaanan ng kuryente. Naway, nabigyan linaw ko po kayo kahit papano sa inyong mga katanungan ukol sa inyong electricity bill. Hanggang sa muli, ako po si Manong Joe, ang inyong lingkod.